have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Let me come back to the rage for a second, because I would love to get your advice, or at least hear of some of your learnings over the last decades. Because I recall from our first conversation that, in your 40s, you're a successful doctor, you're a driven workaholic, you had challenges in your marriage, your kids were, at least based on my notes, sort of afraid of you at points because of your rages.
That's right.
What have you learned about rage and anger? How do you relate to it or metabolize it? And I ask as someone who has a long history of running on anger as maybe a corrosive fuel of sorts. So I would love to just hear you expand on that in any way that makes sense.
So there was a great neuroscientist. His name was Jaak Panksepp, Panksepp, who tragically died a few years ago of cancer. And he distinguished a number of brain systems that we share with other mammals. They include care. He capitalized these. So C-A-R-E, care. Then something he calls grief and panic. Then fear, lust, seeking, play, and rage. These are all brain systems that we have. They're all necessary for mammalian life. They're all necessary. Now, by rage, he means the anger that arises when our boundaries are being transgressed. If I were to infringe on your boundaries, either physically or emotionally, the healthy response for you is to mount an anger response. No, get out. Stay away. That's healthy. Healthy anger is in the moment. It protects your boundaries, and then it's gone. It's not necessary anymore. However, if your boundaries were infringed as a child, but you could not express it, it doesn't disappear. It gets suppressed. It becomes almost like a volcano that's gurgling and bubbling inside you, but it's had no expression. Now, why did you suppress it? Because if you're being, you've been very public about this, so I'm sure you'll allow me to mention it, but sometime after you and I talked, you actually publicly acknowledged that you'd been sexually abused as a child.
I did.
Now, when that's happening to a small child, the last thing you can afford is to be angry. Because if you get rageful at the boundary invasion, you're going to get hurt even more. So suppressing that rage becomes a survival mechanism. Nothing wrong with it. It's the right thing to do. You don't do it, your brain will do it for you automatically as a way of preserving your life or your relative safety. But the rage doesn't go away. What happens?
Man, Gabon be dropping bombs. Welcome into the second hour of the VOR, which is on fire every night. Tonight's topic, what's the importance of knowing yours and your significant other's anger language? Do you withdraw? Are you physical? Are you violent? Are you physically violent? Are you emotionally silent? Do you suppress how you feel? Do you self-sabotage? Do you sabotage the relationship? What is your anger language? Do you shout? Do you yell? I want to know. You need to know. Do you vacillate between all of them? Vacillate, oscillate between all of them? I want to know. What's your anger language? Very important topic tonight. Yes, anger can often be a veneer for fear. Anger is a secondary emotion that can mask underlying feelings. It's underlying feelings such as fear, hurt, or vulnerability. Culturally, there can be a stigma around admitting fear, as it is often seen as a sign of weakness. This can make it difficult for individuals to express their true emotion, all right, in conflicts and get to the root of the issue. In a relationship, it is important to create a safe, non-judgmental space where both partners feel comfortable expressing their fears and vulnerability. That's going to be hard to do in this weird society. People can't wait for you to express your vulnerability so they could store it away to use it against you. Not everybody. I'm sorry. I digress. By fostering open and honest communications, right, partners can address the underlying fears that may be contributing to anger and conflict. This requires a willingness to be vulnerable and a commitment to understand and support one another through the process. For example, instead of expressing anger by saying, "You never listen to me," a person could express their fear by saying, "I feel afraid that you don't value my opinions when you interrupt me during our conversations." By expressing the underlying fear, partners may have a more meaningful and productive conversation about their needs and concerns. This is very heavy, right? It is important for both partners to actively listen and validate each other's emotions, even if they differ from their own. By acknowledging and addressing the underlying fears, couples can work together to find solutions and strengthen and deepen and enrich their bonds. Do you agree or disagree with the statement, the aforementioned statement? I want to talk to y'all tonight. What is your anger language? Cynthia from Mississippi, please finish your most powerful thought.
What I was going to say, and that was really great. Thank you for playing it, though, because that deals for me. I didn't realize I had a lot of trauma that happened in my youth. And as I got older, because I didn't address things that happened to me, my feelings were suppressed. So when anybody came and they got too close or they weren't listening to me, at one time, everything I did came out as rage, but I'm learning to control it now because I see that the boundary was not lifted high enough. And as a child, you think as a child, but as an adult, I had to go in and say, okay, that happened. I can't allow that to happen in the place that I'm going now. So my language for this, for anyone now, is to withdraw and to get quiet. Because if I get quiet, because I do have something to say, that's your warning that you're about to enter into a space that you're going to have to deal with me full force. Now, I don't withhold. I try not to cuss. I try not to. But I don't withhold what I'm feeling from anybody because my feelings, whether you believe in them or agree with them, are valid because they're mine, as well as anyone else's, and they're my experiences. So I just think we need to really be selective when we are giving people access to us and the people that we want to travel this journey of life, they need to be categorized. Just like you do when you go to your phone plans. You got that basic, it's talking text. Then you got the next line up, you get a little more features because that's what that phone is allowed to do. You can't give them 100% access and then expect for them to treat you a certain way when they haven't had the training to deal with you.
Wow.
So you teach people how to treat you back. And so even if there's going to be a hiccup, it's not going to be a gravel road. There's going to be some potholes, but the road's going to be paved because we're both going in the same direction.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted to say. So thank you so much, though,
Cynthia,
for letting me have my say.
Cynthia, what did you just do?
I brought Candy, Mississippi.
The SIP is in the building. Where is Nikki? Nikki, if you don't get in here, 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, more from New Orleans, from Detroit. A lot of people calling in. I want to hear your anger language.
From our heart to your heart. Happy holidays to you and the ones you love. From KBLA Talk 1580. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Cover California is a free service from the state that's already helped millions of people like you get and pay for health insurance. With financial help to lower the cost of health coverage, you could get a quality health plan for less than $10 a month. Every plan covers preventive care, doctor visits, emergency care, and more. If you have questions, we're here to help every step of the way. Cover California, this way to health insurance. Enroll by December 31st at coveredca.com.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
You want some more? It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Playlist.
Crush, kill, destroy, stress. Crush, kill, destroy, stress. Crush, kill, destroy, stress. Crush, kill, destroy, stress.
Pain, stress, my brain can't even rest. It's hard to maintain the pressure on my chest. Excess frustration strikes. Blood rushes my head when I come across roads with dead mics and whack promoted shows. It's hard, but with the presence of God, I'm true to the game, so I'm back black to take charge and recap. Sure, the time is you can never be whack. I'm insert my lifeline into the track. The energy in me is a poison, but no unrevealed remedy. I'm spreading like leprosy throughout the record label, cause mine's put me and my career in jeopardy. Can you come see me in the ghetto where it's dark? Well, it's a real lost peeps lurks in the heart. Lord knows it hurts. We kick the herbs to the curb, execute first things first, and put blunted minds to work. My hurt side and my fan support, so I'm mine for the time being, seeing peace, but taking no shorts. No shorts. Yeah, destroy, stress it, crush, kill, destroy, stress, crush, kill, destroy, stress.
I know that neurophysiologically, anger is a multidimensional emotion. It activates positive emotion systems and negative emotion systems simultaneously. You see this variation in people, you know. I mean, I know some people who are real fighters, let's say on the political front, and some of them really enjoy a good scrap, right? It really seems to get them motivated. And this isn't a criticism of them necessarily. And then other people, and I think I fall more into this camp, I'm not really very interested at all in conflict. It bothers me a lot, although I don't like delayed conflict, so I'm likely to engage in it, you know, relatively upfront. And you could imagine that people are wired differently as individuals, so that for any given person, being angry might be associated with a predominance of approach motivation, right? Positive emotion, and a relative decrement of negative emotion. And for other people, that would be reversed.
Hey, Jordan Peterson, there's a lot of people that don't like him. But I love him. Oh, I love his perspective. I love his intelligence. I love the nuanced approach that he comes from. Like, it's not just a straight down the street thought. It makes you think. It stretches your current perspective. I love Dr. Jordan Peterson. He definitely be spitting. But Andy had a thought before I get to my next caller out of New Orleans. Andy, what was your thought?
Nothing too crazy, but just listening to that Organized Confusion record got me thinking that nobody's upset in today's hip hop.
Yeah.
And we're definitely missing that aggressive tone. A lot of it is very emotional and emo and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's an element that's missing in the game that I actually loved and enjoyed. I think I gravitated towards, you know, a lot of the angry type music.
Yeah. You had Public Enemy, you had NWA, you had BDP, you had Rakim, you had KRS-One. When KRS said, "You must learn," he was upset. When he said, "Why is that?" When he broke down the whole Bible and showed scripturally how everybody in the Bible was black, he said, "Why is that?" Come on now. Hip-hop was angry for all the right reasons when it was conscious. So there's something called righteous indignation. And that's where hip-hop was before gangster rap. There was a righteous indignation. When Public Enemy said, "I got a right to be hostile. My people being persecuted." That's righteous indignation. Public Enemy puts Minister Farrakhan in the records. That's the first time I ever heard Farrakhan was in a Public Enemy record. When he's, "You dope dealer, using your fame as a DJ to sell drugs," and then you go off. I was like, what in the world is this? So yes, there's a such thing as righteous indignation. So talk to me, Andy. I see you bubbling.
Does that righteous indignation, does that make that type of anger good?
Here's the thing. Because of the 7 circuit system that was first outlined by LSD master Timothy Leary, you have to remember that first circuit of the human mind is the anal, not the anal, that's number 2. It's the biosurvival circuit. The anal territorial circuit is the second circuit. But the oral biosurvival circuit is the baby circuit. And what that represents as far as our psychology goes is we move towards things that are safe. We move away from things that make us feel unsafe. That's a baby, right? So many of us are emotional babies in relationships because when somebody pops off, whether it's righteous indignation or self-righteous indignation, we can't differentiate between the two because it feels like pain. It feels like you're coming at me. So there's this natural retreat or there's a natural leaning in to fight back. So most people are at the biosurvival circuit. Now, when they evolve a little bit, they move up to the anal territorial circuit. Now, the anal territorial circuit is a circuit you might see at work, right? The anal territorial circuit is just like a dog who sees another dog and he goes and he pees where he peed. Just to say, I'm going to cover your scent up with my scent. You'll see that at work when you have a subordinate and somebody above them, right? And they, bang on the subordinate because they have this egoic kind of position. That's the anal territorial circuit. The third circuit is the semantic circuit. This is when you start mastering your words. Now, when you master the semantics of it all and you're able to rip a person to shreds without profanity, with your words, without vociferation, without getting loud, now we're in a different phase, right? Hey, trust me, man, this anger thing goes to different levels, man. I'm sorry for going on a tangent. Andy took me to a whole nother world. I'm sorry, we got callers that need to be addressed. Now let's get Carl in here. He's been on the longest. New Orleans, get in here. You got to turn your living room down, brother.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Zoe? I had a couple of things I wanted to say, but if I could.
Go ahead, brother. You live on the radio right now.
Okay. So the caller, not this past caller, but the caller before this guy, she mentioned about everybody's emotions being valid. Thanks. And I, from my personal experience with that type of quote, I've noticed that people who say my emotions matter or my emotions are valid, they usually say that to in saying that they kind of like shut down other people's emotions or other people's point of view, and they kind of like cover up the truth when they say quotes like that. I'm not saying that's what she did, but or that's what she would do, but I'm just saying that that's one thing that I've experienced with those situations. But,
okay. So you saying you feel like your emotions weren't being heard? Is that what you're saying?
But no, so I'm saying that some people who use that, a lot of people saying regardless of the truth, how I feel is important, which is true. But when people use that, a lot of times they're discounting the other person's perspective when they're including too much of their own emotion into it.
Well, let me go deeper, Carl. You can't disregard anything, the truth or how somebody feels. And that is, and let's go deeper into that. That is the essence of creating a safe space in relationship, meaning the truth matters. How you feel about it matters. How your perspective may be different than mine, but your perspective matters, right? I've been in arguments with loved ones who see things totally different than the way I see it. And what I've learned to do is say, you know what? I don't agree with you, but I respect where you're coming from. I may not agree with every nuance or how you tell the story, but your story matters just as much as mine, because the collective of our two perspectives actually is the almanac, so to speak, of the experience that we're talking about. So I can't invalidate how you perceived it, how I can't invalidate how you experienced it. If that's what you experienced, I have to acknowledge your experience as part of the grander truth of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, completely.
Yes. So I'm agreeing with you. I don't agree with people who say, regardless of the truth. No, you cannot take anything out of the experience. If it's the truth, it's the truth. Right? You've heard that old saying. There's your side of the story, my side of the story, and the truth. Right? You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, brother. Your other thought. Talk to me.
Okay, so in regards to anger languages, what I've noticed is that first there's a combination of styles that people use as opposed to just one over the other, and it's usually one after the other in a way. And there's different consequences for different for different languages being used. And I hate to bring up old stuff, but ironically, this being the title of the show, I just happened to watch the episode of, where that Aries Spears was on the 5150 show. I just happened to watch that from the beginning to end yesterday, of all things. And from that show, I noticed that Corey lost his cool too. Not in an unwarranted way. In the same way yours, I don't think yours was unwarranted from watching the show. But Corey lost his cool from across the room where he had to yell at Aries because Aries was continuously over talking everybody. Even when the rap section came on, he did like 2 and 3 verses and stuff like that when other people was trying to talk. And when you was having your input on the show, he would tell you to like shut up in like a playful but not playful kind of way that he wouldn't.
So you want to reenact the Aries Spears story? Is that what you want to do? I'm with you. I'm with the smoke. Let's go with it. So that's 2017. Okay, let's go with it.
Yeah, I'm just only bringing it up because I just happened to watch it yesterday, and it's to the topic.
Let me just say this. I understand that a lot of people follow me, right? And to see me get out of character is like a child watching their father get out of character. You know why? Because I've been pouring a lot of positive input into a lot of people. So when they see that, they create an image of who they think I am. Oh, Zoe would never do that. Zoe would never lose his cool. Wrong. Zoe is a human being. And if you're consistently disrespectful, if you're consistently crossing the line, I'm going to show you the other twin. Because you know what? Cool Mo D told me something. He said most people respect your anger more than they respect your intelligence. He said intellect flies over their head and past their shoulder. They don't even know what you're talking about most of the time. He said, think about Suge Knight at the height of his power. Wouldn't nobody say nothing to Suge Knight just based on who he is, the image. They knew we in trouble. They wasn't like, oh, Suge Knight's the most brilliant man in the world. Ain't nobody scared of Einstein. When I come forward, I'm going to finish talking about this Aries Spears mess.
There is none. No more will exist when I emerge from the mist in which I was born into scorn. Most of you can't even comprehend what I am saying to you, even in my human form, the message I'm relaying. Why do you choose to mimic these whack MCs?
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. There's a new push for a South Carolina state hate crime bill after a Thanksgiving weekend cross-burning incident at the home of a black couple in Conway. The cross-burning was part of a series of acts of racial harassment the couple was allegedly subjected to by their next-door neighbors, who are now awaiting trial on multiple charges. South Carolina is one of only 2 states that does not have a hate crime law on the books. The Minnesota Supreme Court says segregation in schools in the Twin Cities does not violate state law unless it's intentional. Parents filed a lawsuit asking the court to rule that racial and socioeconomic segregation in schools in Minneapolis and St. Paul violated the state constitution's education clause. The justices instead ruled that the existence of racial imbalances in schools is not proof that those imbalances lead to poor educational outcomes for some students. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin Ultra Strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm calling you up.
got this two-timing chick who got her revenge from when I was on my two-time tip. And even when I tried to correct it, she couldn't get past how she was disrespected, neglected my effort, a pair with no trust, dirty games and affairs that been tearing us up. If things ain't picture perfect, is it really worth it? I have an idea, but I need to know for certain. I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up, 'cause I need a love doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up, 'cause I need to hear the doctor's voice to breeze up.
Another one of those. This is for my Q. Down to earth, joint peace, baby. You know how we roll. There's so many that don't know. This goes out to my Q. Rest in peace, baby. You still here with me? What they don't know is the bull, the drama, the guns, the armor, the city, the farmer, the babies, the mama, the projects, the drugs, the children, the thugs, the tears, the hugs, the love, the slugs, the funerals, the wakes, the churches, the coffins, the heartbroken mothers. It happens too often. The problems, the things we use to solve them. Yonkers, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Harlem, the hurt, the pain, the dirt, the rain, the jerk, the fame, the work, the game, the friends, the foes, the bins, the studios.
Come on, man. My playlist is my co-host, DMX. They don't know who we be. Let me get my brother Carl from New Orleans back in here. All right, Carl. Finish your final thought, my friend.
Okay, well, the reason of me bringing that up was to point out that it seems like different responses get different consequences. Because from watching that show, I was saying that Corey lost his cool too, where he had to yell at Aries, but the physical response had garnered like a bigger response from everybody as opposed to any type of other response, as opposed to what any other response would get.
Interesting. Well, guess what you just did, brother Carl?
No. Oh, so I live in California, but I'm always rep New Orleans.
So Carl, you don't.
Always, bro.
Carl, this is your first time calling the show. When I ask you, guess what you just did? You say you bring your city in the building, sir. Now, what city are you repping? New Orleans? Or are you repping?
I'm repping New.
There you go. Now, Carl, guess what you just did?
I brought New Orleans in the building.
You brought New Orleans, Louisiana in the building. And listen, I love Corey. And, I ain't got nothing but respect for Aries. I do, But at the end of the day, I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted to show him, like, in a nanosecond, I could be on you like stank on a plank. I didn't try to hurt him. Mo D even recognized that. He was like, you pulled all of your punches because you didn't want to hurt. And I didn't. I just wanted him to know, like, hey. I don't know what you think this is, but this is what it ain't. I'm sorry. They say, oh, Zoe, you're the voice of reason. Sometimes I'm a whip. That's what I am, a work in progress. And if you cross the line with me, you're going to get introduced to the other twin. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's not. It's something. Listen, I've been working on me since I recognized that I was the problem. So I'm not. See, this is why I come on the show the way I come on the show. I have to lead with my weaknesses. Most people won't do that. They try to package themselves as the new cherry Coke. They try to package themselves as this perfect product, right? The relationship master, because I've mastered it. And nobody has mastered relationships. So I come in with my flaws first so I can connect to the whip in you. That's the purpose of it. Go ahead, Andy.
You know, I'm not surprised that somebody brought up that situation, considering the topic being discussed. But, you know, you being the voice of reason, you kind of talked about it just now, but, like, do you feel that, how do I want to ask this? Are you conscious of your emotions, considering you are the voice of reason?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Like like behind the scenes, you don't understand. I'm doing the show, and during the breaks, Aries is cool. I'm talking to him. Hey, calm down. Follow Corey's lead. And he's like, yeah, all right, I got you. I'm cool. I say, yeah, relax. But then as soon as the lights come on, he turn on. And even at a higher rate than he was in the previous segment. And so I'm like, okay. So you in here playing reindeer games. All right. So again, I'm going to do, the right thing first. But if I recognize that you don't respect the right thing and you want to play reindeer games, I'm going to be Santa. I'm going to come in as the chief elf. I'm sorry. All right, cool. We got D on the line from Detroit. D, I'm sorry. Get in here. D, are you there? D from Detroit. D probably went to go make wait, just put her on hold.
No, you hear me?
There you go, because I knew she was there. D, come on in. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I didn't know the difference between anger and fear for a long time, because when I was 12, I had just got back with my mom and I had been raped. And I didn't want to tell anyone, so a year had passed. I rebelled. I moved to Tennessee, told the pastor. He said, you're going to have to take a vacation to the hospital. So went there, found out that this man had gave me everything under the sun. And my mama was mad, so she told her friend who had daughters, and she wanted to know, who was this guy? And the daughters had told the baby mama. So when the baby mama, from what I know of, his last words was, she had said, oh, so you effing little girls now. That's why this baby ain't yours. So he blew her head off and stayed there and waited on the police, went to prison. They gave him 33 years. Now, this when I was 13, I'm 37 now. They told me I wasn't going to have children, everything. I was blessed at 15 with a child, and 7 years, 7 months later, I was blessed with another child. So my son just about 3 weeks ago asked me, Ma, had you ever been raped before? And I said, what happened to you? You been raped? I'm thinking, he gonna tell me something that's gonna make me go ballistic. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, I'm just understanding women. So I told him. And he was like, well, what happened to the dude? And I said, he went to prison for killing his baby mama. I was like, but my mama told me, let God handle that. And he was like, he's still alive? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why? And I said, baby, I don't know. It's God's plan. I said, but you wasn't supposed to be here, because they told me 3 different doctors said I wasn't going to have children. And I was just explaining to him, and I said, I'm not angry anymore. I'm not in fear anymore, because, when it happened, when my mama found out, my mama was like, I killed the man because of that. And I said, huh? And she was like, he raped me before I had kids. And she was like, and I shot and I killed him. And I was like, Mom, I was like, wow. And she was like, I was 17 years old, and I had to go to court and everything, and I was exonerated. And I was like, my mama is a thug. So I was like, why didn't I have that kind of courage? And I was always comparing that to myself, like, I'm weak. But my son, his grandparents is cops. So he been raised going to gun range, going hunting, riding horses, swimming since he was 2, all kind of stuff. And I just said, baby, I said, don't be mad. I said, if this man do end up getting out and not getting flopped or nothing like that, because they supposed to be letting him out early. And I don't want my son, he's 23 now, I don't want him standing at the gate waiting to blow somebody's head off. But I told him, I said, if you angry about it, I was like, because of something that happened to your mama, I was like, don't be, because God brought you in this world for a reason. And I was like, to define that every person who said that I wasn't going to have birth to children, that they wasn't right. And I had you vaginally, and I told him, and I was like, you and your brother, and I was like, you say you are your brother's keeper, and he tattooed my birthday on him. I told him, I said, baby, I said, I'm not angry anymore. I don't want you to be angry. I was like, yes, I don't want him to get out of prison, but this man that was just here fixing on my house, he did 21 years in prison up in Chicago, and he gonna say, no man should be locked up. No black man should be locked up, period. He was like, I don't care what they do because of the shit because of the stuff that white people did to us. And he was like, so I don't care what a person did. If they black, they don't belong behind bars. And I just told him, I said, well, that's what you think. I said, and what you've been through, Chicago ain't nothing like here. But y'all, I just said, you lucky you made it out,
So let me say this to you, D. Let me say this to you, D, real quick. I think, you are doing an amazing job with your son. God has blessed you. They said you weren't going to have any kids. You had 2 vaginally, and he is one of them. But I would suggest, if you feel like he's struggling with it, you and your son, y'all might want to go sit down with a therapist, preferably a sister, right? And y'all sit down with them, and you allow him to work through his feelings. Because I would hate for something like that where your son felt like he needed to take some kind of revenge because that might be his anger language. I would suggest that you definitely encourage him to sit down with somebody so he can work through and process his feelings. But let me tell you this. You won the conversation tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you called in and you were open and you were transparent about everything you went through. And I just want to say, sister, I love you and I appreciate you for being able to open up with us and share something so traumatic and so powerful. You shifted the whole show tonight, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, and I love you too.
Thank you, baby girl. You brought Detroit in the building. The voice of reason got the whole nation talking. When we come forward, you knew it was going to happen. Nikki from the SIP.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate you. Thank you for turning us on this year. Happy holidays.
Wow! Mommy's kissing Santa Claus!
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with Kate Luzio, former banking executive and now owner of Luminary, who partnered with Chase for this tour. She makes it her business to build community for business owners.
Yes, so I was a banker for 20 years before I decided to become an entrepreneur. 7 of those years were actually at JP Morgan Chase. One of the biggest things that I had going into my entrepreneurial journey was a big background in banking.
So what advice are you giving business owners looking for financial backing today?
So Chase brings in so much knowledge and the opportunity to understand what financial tools are out there for business owners to build, grow, and scale their business. A lot of business owners will say, well, I need to get a loan immediately. Well, You wouldn't just lend money to your friend if you didn't know why they needed it. I tell every business owner, you need a business plan, you need financial projections, you need a banker. Because you have to start building a relationship with a banker so that they get comfortable with how you're going to build that business and so that they can eventually support you in different ways.
Makes sense. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Aisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel. Without a pause, I'm lowering my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling? You know it's time again. D, the enemy, telling you to hear it. They praise the music, this time they play the lyrics. Some say no to the album, the show. Bum rush the sound, I made a year ago. I guess you know, you guess I'm just a radical. Not on sabbatical, yes, to make it critical. The only part of your body should be partying too. Pass the power on the hour from the rebel to you.
Hey, yo, Chuck, man, I don't understand this, man. Yo, you got this money out, man. You're losing them.
Radio, suckers never play me. On the mix, they just okay me now, known and grown. When they clock in my zone, there's no sneaking and taking. Everything that the brother owns.
The voice of reason. Wow, my playlist is my co-host. We found the most aggressive hip-hop records tonight because we're talking about your anger language. And many people have been calling in and talking about it and sharing their experiences. And, you know, it's all good. I love it. But, you know, one of my favorites is in the building. I don't want to take up no more time. Nikki from the SIP, get in here. What's the food for thought tonight?
Oh, Brother Zoe and the fam.
Mm-hmm.
This anger thing is a real heavy deal, too, because anger pushes us internally to places sometimes that are both healthy and unhealthy at the same time. So we kind of become a Gemini in that instance. For myself, you already know, I don't suffer fools well. But I'm also a slow burn. And there are many opportunities for you to understand, please do not provoke the bull.
That's right.
When you have driven me to the point of anger, and I have had to learn some mechanisms, because normally when you drive me to that place, the earth will be scorched when I am finished with you.
Come on, Nick.
Nothing will grow there ever again. And normally, I do not have to
go up an octave to do that. My friend from Mississippi who called in has told you I have a high command of the Queen's English.
Mm-hmm.
Internal positive and negative, when I am driven to the point of anger, it takes me days to bring my spirit back to a place of level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on some level, all of us experience, even if it's loud or if it's cursing, that Gemini experience, particularly if we're not Geminis by nature, when that is happening, it takes us a minute to sort of level off again.
Mm-hmm.
Because that angry touches us in a place no one else should be anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're mad. And let's just be adult and cognizant. When people give you cues about poking the bear, please take the clues wisely.
Please. Hey, I love it. I love it. Nikki,
let's not
go ahead.
Press us today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just not press us into that space. Because for some of us, literally, like I can't hear, or the place in my spirit that I go when you have made me angry, it takes me a long time to come back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And let's not do that with each other. Let's recognize if we must go, if we must retreat, then do so.
Right.
Because I promise you, if you get me to that place, nothing will ever grow there again.
Nikki, you know I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You always bring us food for thought. What did you just do, sweetheart?
How about the sip in the building?
The sip is in the building, and I look forward to hearing from my sister on Monday. Let me just say this. The more fear we have on the inside, the more our perception of the world is changed to a fearful, guarded expectancy. That is Dr. David R. Hawkins. Man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. The Voice of Reason is out, but guess who's in? Jill Monroe, RSVP, up next.